All right, let's talk about the controversial Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. The commercial was met with a lot of criticism immediately.
Right.
Like at first it was on YouTube, immediate criticism, then it went on to air. And many people saying that it trivialized decades of protests against police brutality, against minorities, as well as trivializing the Black Lives Matter movement, specifically because of that one image at the very end where you see Kendall Jenner facing the line of police officers, that reminiscent of that widely shared photo of Aisha Evans, the protester who got arrested. We'll look at that. Actually, let's look at the photo right now. So there's Kendall. And then many people on social media shared, in fact, I have a tweet, shared that photo with captions like, this is from Maya, with captions like, quote, "the best example of white and economic privilege, ignorance I've ever seen. Never forget Aisha Evans, hashtag Pepsi." Now, also following the criticism, we had a lot of jokes. We had a lot of serious tweets. We had one serious tweet from Bernice King, Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. She tweeted, "If only Daddy would have known about the power of Pepsi." Powerful. And then DeRay McKesson, "If I had carried Pepsi, I guess I never would have gotten arrested. Who knew?" Now, following the criticism, first Pepsi, they released a couple of different statements, and both of those statements defended their commercial. I'll read one of them. They say here that the creator showcases a moment of unity and a point where multiple storylines converge in the final advert. It depicts various groups of people embracing a spontaneous moment and showcasing Pepsi's brand rallying cry to live for now, and an exploration of what that truly means to live life unbounded, unfiltered, and uninhibited. And then they went on to say that all they wanted to promote was unity. And then finally, after more pushback from social media specifically, they did pull the ad. So yesterday afternoon, they announced that they were pulling the ad. They also apologized to Kendall Jenner. They released this statement, quote, "Pepsi was trying to project a global message of unity, peace, and understanding. Clearly, we missed the mark and we apologize. We did not intend to make light of any serious issue. We are pulling the content and halting any further rollout. We also apologize for putting Kendall Jenner in this position." And a lot of people, of course, echoed that sentiment, saying, yeah, it was appropriative and it was tone deaf. Thoughts, 5 words or less?
Pepsi is generally bad.
Huh. Oh, yes, I love Coke.
You know Coke's having a field day with this.
Soda.
Always preferred Coke anyway. I did. Do you remember the Pepsi Coke
Unless
challenge?
it's Mexican food. If you have if I mean Mexican food, I'll tell you what, Pepsi's the damn best.
Really?
I don't know what it is. It's like more sugary.
Okay, that's interesting.
The Pepsi at Taco Bell is way better than the Pepsi you'd buy at a gas station.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
I love what you said because it's true. I think the one party that is happy about this
is Coke, for
sure.
sure.
Coke. They're like, hallelujah.
But we did the whole buy the world a Coke thing, which is also solve the world's problems with soda.
It wasn't as in your face and tone deaf as this.
I mean, it was a different time. Bart told me, but he's like, but it's a different time. But it does feel like, oh, here's a real relevant discussion everyone's having. Let's brand it with soda. It's like that is a bad instinct to have. Now, if you want to have the live for now thing, there's more about I don't know. It's just that reaction you get when you watch it with like the general protest. Like what are
Join
we
the conversation, Brett. That's what people are mad about, that people are not joining the conversation. That's
no one talks in the video. Like no one talks in that. It's only
just
like
vague
knowing
peace
glances.
signs. Well, that's what it's all about.
The video to me, okay, so there's so many things there was a lot of things I missed the mark with this video. One, Kendall modeling, looking statuesque in the middle of some unnamed street, and then you have in the beginning the photographer who's upset about not being able to find the right picture, or I couldn't get what that was about.
She couldn't find the right photo.
That was very weird to me. And then if this is a protest, that's the happiest protest I've ever seen. There's people dancing, hugging.
Yeah,
it just didn't make any sense.
They made protests feel like a block party.
Yeah.
And I saw something on, so Twitter really did knock this one out of the park.
They did.
They really, really nailed it. And one of the funnier ones that I saw was something about this is what a paid protest would look like. This ad is paid protest. Something I wanted to bring up, obviously we've talked about how it's tone deaf. What I also think is tone deaf is Pepsi's statement now coming out apologizing after they took it down. So the first statement was, we're standing by this. You guys just don't understand what unity means. Obviously Pepsi does, you losers don't get it.
What an idiot. Oh, what a loser.
And then they were like, oh fuck, we need to take this down. And then in their apology, what they say that really got under my skin is we apologize for putting Kendall Jenner in this position. Kendall Jenner is a person who made an autonomous decision to join this. They pitched her this. She wasn't like caught in like found footage and like they cut it together. She knew what this ad was, what the message was. She knew that the brand's name is Live for Now and how they were gonna spin it. She wasn't like, oh, like what's this sign? Join the conversation. She needs to also come out and be like, I'm sorry, you can be in a high profile position and like see all this stuff going on and still not recognize that it's tone deaf as it's happening. Like explain how she got caught up in this. And we can't just be like, Kendall Jenner was just there, she didn't know, she had no idea.
She actually was just shooting something. That was found footage of Kendall Jenner.
No, you guys, okay, first, I do think, Grace, you make points about Kendall Jenner being, and she's 23 years old, knowing better, but Entertainment Tonight did a story that released some information saying that Kendall, and first of all, this ad was never supposed to be shown in the United States. It was supposed to be only released online and in emerging markets in other continents.
They're gonna say that now.
Fine. And also Kendall, I think, yes, Kendall should come out and apologize because she is a part of this travesty. But I think initially she probably felt like this was cool. The idea in theory was probably great.
The international market defense is so much worse.
But that's what they're saying.
If you're like, well, I wonder what's happening in America. It seems fine. Everyone's in blue.
I feel like Kendall's collateral damage.
Pepsi Cola.
Seriously, I think Kendall's collateral damage. And a lot of people, and here's another thing that makes me mad about the whole Kendall thing is that people fucking hate the Kardashians. So Kendall was the only Kardashian adjacent that had no scathing scandal attached to her yet. So now people are like, ooh, can't stand them hoes, the Kardashians. Excuse my language, this is what people saying her online. Now Kendall, finally we got her. Now she is.
Yeah. So if I were to rank it, I'd be like, Pepsi is the problem first. Kendall is the problem second, because you can't. I mean, you have to, going into this, hopefully have someone around you at least that says, okay, it seems like we're trivializing some things. It's the shame, and it's like, I get mad when they put a company name on like a sports arena. When they put a company name on like one of the biggest problems facing America, what the fuck are we doing
Like that
here?
they're gonna solve police brutality, that they're gonna solve decades and decades of people that have sacrificed their life
but it was the wrong
to protest police brutality.
So I don't think it's okay to tear Kendall down at all. And I don't think I'm like, we need an apology, like justice from Kendall.
You just want to hear what she has to say.
I'm sure
I think that by Pepsi saying that like we're sorry for putting Kendall in this position diminishes her own self as a person to make these decisions as a grown adult.
Right.
We need to at least give her that she signed on to this. She has to be held accountable as well. It can't just be like just a corporation, like it's just Pepsi. I just think that we should look at the big picture here, which is yes, Pepsi first, but also like Kendall did sign on to it. They didn't like force her to take the wig off and to hand it to a black woman and join the protest.
You're right, but I'm saying probably conceptually when they were probably in a boardroom and
how did this pass in a boardroom after the fact?
Right, exactly. So I'm thinking maybe someone, maybe when they were conceptualizing this idea, the tone that they were trying, I think that Pepsi had good intentions initially, right?
Of course, poor execution, good intentions.
Exactly, that's why Kendall signed on to this, because I put myself in Kendall's shoes. First, Pepsi's a huge brand. She's she has like 83 million followers on any social media platform. It would make sense for her brand to be inserted into a line with Pepsi. So if you're in a boardroom listening to this idea, in theory, it sounds cool. Unity, we're all like.
But at some point in time, when she's on set, she didn't turn around and be like, so what's the whole join the conversation thing? Kind of feels like this is supposed to be a protest.
Well, listen, she's not an entity. Like at what point are we like, she's the boringest Kardashian, can we agree?
No.
She's the nothingest Kardashian. Who's more of a nothing than her in the Kardashian family?
And how is Kendall a nothing?
Like Kylie
at least has
those are some
strong words, Brad.
Her. She's the one who does this.
Brad, have a Pepsi. Here, you need it. It'll make you feel better about Kendall.
Okay, but fuck, man.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. The girl is one of the top models out there, and she.
Yeah, but what is her personality? Well, she's like a Star Wars prequels character and not a Star Wars originals character. Like you describe her by what her job is, but not by what she's like.
I think Kendall's the most interesting Kardashian adjacent because she's not a Kardashian, but she's a part of the clan. If you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but because she's not over the top, she's very well spoken.
Yeah, no, she's And it's kind of a compliment to be like, I can't think of anything about her. Like if I'm thinking about whichever one, the non-tall, beautiful
Courtney. Chloe?
Kylie.
Her sister. Her sister is like, oh, she's the one who got the lip injections, and she's the one who is trying to stand from out behind her big sister's shadow. That's interesting. That's controversial. This one to me is just like the pretty tall one who doesn't say anything.
But the reason why
she doesn't say anything in this video.
It's okay.
All she does is be complicit in some misguided ad campaign. She doesn't deserve the brunt of the blame, but she does deserve some.
Right,
blame.
she doesn't deserve the brunt of the blame. Number one, I mean, she's 22, 23 years old, and when you're put in a position as a hired host or actor or spokesperson, it is difficult sometimes to go up to that director or to that executive producer or to the network and say, I don't believe in this.
She totally
At
needs
the end
the
of the
money.
day,
she doesn't need to. She could have someone on her team.
Of course, but I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Do I still want her to come forward and somehow take some ownership? Yes. But you also have to look at it from the perspective of like a young person on set, and when you don't make those decisions, maybe she didn't even realize it. Maybe you're on set and you see all this stuff going on,
That's
and then
what I
you
think
go
would happen.
after.
Exactly.
I mean, you shoot
we're
sometimes a whole
hairs
week
here.
on it.
Like
sometimes you can shoot a whole week. I don't know.
Usually, in my opinion, the reaction to videos that seem to be culturally insensitive is an overreaction. But in this case, it's just so toned
It
down.
is.
From start to finish, and you ask, how can this kind of thing go on? It's because there's a bunch of creative ad executives who have a list of things they want to go after, that they want to put their name to be affiliated with, and then they're all in the same room together, and sometimes there's just no one around to be like, guys, this is terrible.
And it becomes, yeah, you're right. I agree, but
storm.
how can companies learn from this?
Well, easily. Okay, so I mean, it's coming to a point now with media where everything, like I told you before, Sam, nothing is safe anymore. What's the threshold? What's the barometer? What is the line that we have to put down or lay down that says, okay, this is racist, this is that? Because if
this was appropriative, and they should have seen that. They should have seen that.
They're commodifying a moment in history, and it's not okay.
But there have been other commercials though. So think about all the commercials. Nike had a commercial, and I think it was during the Oscars that was very racially charged.
Right. There's a way to, all of it is unsettling. Like I remember watching the Oscars, and I was watching it with my friend Tina, and we'd be like, oh, like I'm really on board for this ad, and then it'd be like Wells Fargo, and you're like, that sucks, right? But what was different with this ad is that you're having Kendall Jenner be the face of a movement that
Question
this privileged white girl coming
Stephen
up
Colbert was the one that was saying that like hashtag attractive lives matter. Like what's the message here?
So let me ask you guys a question for the panel. If you guys watching
and we have to go. So wrap it up.
So would this commercial or this ad been less offensive and less angering if it had been maybe Beyonce or Rihanna or a person of color being the heroine in the commercial? Would that have made it less offensive for us then?
I think it would have been less offensive, but I still think it would have been tone deaf in the sense that you have this protest that you said looks more like a block party, and that a beverage product will solve all this. But again, to have a tall, beautiful, white young girl be the face of the resistance is more offensive, but I still think it would be offensive.
But the thing is, like, yeah, and the message even at the base of it is get in on this because it's cool to.
Yeah.
Not get in on this because the message is right. And they absolutely take themselves out of the message.
Yeah.
And it's their attempt to try to have it all ways, like have it both ways, be like, take a side, but we as Pepsi need all of you on every side of the debate, so we're not gonna pick a side.
We just want you to join the conversation.
But it's a silent video. No one's having any conversation. It's so generic.
It's so true. Join the conversation.
Madonna had on Instagram this morning. She said, "quote When you wake up and realize that shit really just doesn't make sense." Hashtag chosen. Side note: My Pepsi commercial was pulled 30 years ago because I was kissing a black saint.
Yes,
Hashtag
honey.
ironic.
I remember. Yes,
like
honey.
a prayer.
Yes.
Like a prayer. So I don't know. This could. There's a lot of people who feel that this was not offensive. Yeah, there are. Conversations I had with people yesterday were mind-blowing. They're like, I don't see how, it's fun, it's great. I don't see what's the problem.
I get people who say like, I don't care, it's a fucking commercial.
Yeah.
I get that. I get the one where it's
Final
like,
thought.
there is a lot more we could be talking about than this and it's a distraction, but it's still like every part of this commercial is bad.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so we want to know what you all have to say. So please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.